Welcome to our special presentation, Hispanic Heritage Month 2022. Today we will have 4 individuals tell you about their heritage and why it is important to represent Hispanic heritage in the Yakima School District. First, please allow me to introduce our guests. We have Mr. Alvarado, Mr. Garcia, Lexi Lopez, and Ariana Carmona. So what are some things you do to represent your heritage?
In my family, we do a lot of family get-togethers, and this is in the way of quinceañeras, bodas, or baptisms, confirmations, or just in general family get-togethers. And of course, quinceañeras are a celebration of a girl's 15th birthday. Bodas are weddings, and of course, at these events, food plays a big role. Usually there's some kind of food that is from the heritage, which would include maybe carne asada, carnitas, chile verde, chile colorado. It's always really good. And then of course there's a big party, and the party includes usually some live music with music from your background, and it's usually in Spanish. And in particular, in my family, we really love to dance to cumbias, rancheras, boleros, and then of course my wife's family is from a different part of Mexico, and she likes banda music. And another big part of our culture and heritage is going back to Mexico and visiting family. We have a lot of family. My family's from Monterrey, a little town outside of Monterrey called Hidalgo. My wife's family is from Coahuila, Torreon. In fact, we went to Torreon and got married, and we had a big celebration. We had 2 bands. It was outdoors, and it was a really good party. It was a lot of fun. And of course, speaking the language. If you speak the language, don't ever lose that language. In our valley here in Yakima, it's definitely a bonus that you should be proud of and you should continue to use for your entire life. And those are some things just for me. And I know we're supposed to keep it to a minute or two, so I'm going to say.
Thank you very much for sharing. Lexi?
Some things that we do is, what we like to do is December 12th is the Virgin Mary's birthday. So we usually wake up really early and we go and sing to the Virgin Mary. Other things we do, they're called danzas, and it's like you dance like the same thing like to the Virgin Mary. You do all these special dances. I'm not really sure what they're called, but they're really cool, and you get to put on these beautiful dresses and stuff like that. Other things, like Mr. Alvarado said, there's so many parties, there's food, and my family is from Michoacan and Jalisco, so we like going to the beach and stuff like that. Sorry. And other things is just like he said, speaking the language, going to my grandma's house and her showing us pictures of how it was back then. Yeah.
Thank you. Mr. Garcia?
Well, I have a unique situation. I did come from Mexico when I was small. I'm still small, but I came about 9 years old. So I have enough understanding of Mexican culture. I was born in Michoacan and pretty much grew up here in Yakima. So in my family, we have developed almost like a Mexican subculture. And in that, we still incorporate a lot of stuff about Mexico. In birthday parties, Christmas parties, whatever. It's maybe a unique way that we have Mexican food. Always there's got to be some type of Mexican food. Even when my wife's side of the family, who is from here, teaches biology as well, we mix the 2 cultures together. And whether it's through the food, the music that we listen to, but I wouldn't say that in my immediate family we do these massive parties that some people in my culture are known for. But we do infuse it. The food, the music, the acceptance of people. I would say, being part of the Mexican culture, we're happy people, and we like to celebrate. And birthday celebrations, everybody knows they're not just one day. They are multiple days, and so we try to do that. So I would say bringing part of Mexican culture into the American culture becomes a unique subculture, which in some cases may be called a Mexican American culture. So that's how we do it.
Interesting. And then Ariana?
For our family, food is a really big way we celebrate our heritage. My grandma likes to cook a lot, and she's made friends throughout the years that she's been here, And instead of like, oh, she has a mechanic friend, and instead of paying him with money, she pays him with food. So that's a really big part. Like food is a really big part, as well as celebrations. We always have big parties. We used to have random like Tuesday parties, and not as much anymore because of COVID. But yeah.
Thank you for sharing. And then the other question we have for you today is, why do you think honoring Hispanic Heritage Month is important?
I think honoring Hispanic Heritage Month in particular is important because here in the Yakima Valley, the Hispanic population is huge. And here at Davis, it's huge. In the Yakima School District, I think there's over 87% Hispanic population. Here at Davis, we're right around the same number. And I think we should be proud of our heritage, we should celebrate our heritage, and we should share our heritage so that others know more about our heritage. One of the things I didn't mention earlier was the kinds of foods that I think are unique to our heritage are menudo, pozole, which are two of my favorite meals, and people that haven't tried those two meals should, and also tamales. There's nothing like these foods, and they're great. And also the dancing and the culture, and then just the getting together. And in my family alone, there's about 150 to 200 on my parties for my kids' birthdays or celebrations at the house, and then any friends that we invite. And just being around a lot of people and enjoying the company of people is something that we should all celebrate in any culture. But I know that in the Hispanic culture, that's something that's really important and that we do in our home.
Leslie?
Sorry. I think it's important that we celebrate Heritage Month or honor it because no matter what, like you should always like appreciate like where you come from and like appreciate like your culture. And I also think that like sharing it with others so other people know like what it's like. And I think it's just like a great way to like make friends and stuff like that.
Mr. Garcia?
Well, I think part of culture is being who we are, what we're all about. And if we're going to understand ourselves, we first have to understand our culture. Now, there's certain things about our culture we like, some things that we don't like, some things that make us cringe. But in the end, it is who we are as people. And I think that if we understand each other, one way to understand each other is just to share in meal, to share music. And when we do that, I think we appreciate ourselves more, but other people will understand where we're coming from. They might not like us, they might not understand us, but at least they're going to be able to say, you know what, these people are all right. And sharing that is a really good thing, as Mr. Alvarado said. It's not something that people should be ashamed of. I don't think you need to force your culture on anybody else. You got to be careful. You don't want to go too Mexicano on some people in some situations. But at the same time, you shouldn't be afraid to just listen to whatever kind of music you want to listen to, eat whatever you want, but also be willing to accept when other people are sharing your culture. Right here, it happens to be a lot of Hispanics, Latinos, whatever, Latinx, or whatever the term that you want to share. But in other cultures, where there's a big group of ethnic composition of other subgroups, it is good to find out about where other people are coming from. Because in the end, that is what America's all about. We are one culture out of many. And it's our model, right? And so we want to share it, not be ashamed of it, and knew that this is what America has become.
Right.
And so that's why it's important to share it.
And then Ariana?
I feel like when you share about your culture to different people, you get to know about other cultures as well and how they relate to yours, and I feel like that just makes for a good conversation, and you get gain more friends from that, and you also learn more about other cultures and how they're different and similar to yours, as well as we all know that there's a bunch of Hispanic culture in Yakima. And that's really good to know where you come from, and also not forget where you come from is really good.
Thank you, and thank you all for sharing. And now a special message from the Yakima School District.
Hola, me llamo Trevor Green. Soy el superintendente del Distrito Escolar de Yakima. My name's Trevor Green. I'm the superintendent here in Yakima. And it's my pleasure to talk to you a little bit about Hispanic Heritage Month and what it means to me. I think about who we are as a district and the people that we represent, and it's just such a great honor to recognize all of the people that are impacted by Hispanic Heritage Month, but also to know that in Yakima, and especially here in the district, we embrace Somos Uno, which is we are one. It is a mantra that we're using this year, and we understand and recognize that who we are as a district is working towards a collaborative effort to make sure that all of our students receive the benefits necessary and the support necessary to graduate. We also recognize that when we have Somos Uno out there and we lead with Somos Uno, we're recognizing who we are as a district, as a Latinx, Hispanic majority district, between 70 and 80%, and we know that we embrace our biculturalism, our bilingual ability, and I think about Somos Uno as not only being who we are as a district, but one of the things that I take great pride in is that soy uno con ustedes, I'm one with you as a pirate, being a former graduate of Davis, and knowing that when I step on campus or when I think about being a pirate, there is a common experience, a common theme that I have in knowing that Somos Uno, that we are one, and having that experience. The idea of Somos Uno is to take whatever experience that we have, whether it be with a classroom experience, a small group, professional learning team with our teachers, or all the way up to the magnitude of our district or our community, and recognize that we can have a common purpose, a common goal towards having success collectively. There's a great saying, I think it was Margaret Mead, that says, "Never doubt that a small group of people can change the world. Indeed, it's the only thing that ever has." And when we come together, whether it's a small group or hopefully as a larger group, we are actually impacting the world in a greater way. So please do celebrate Hispanic Heritage Month. When I think about all of the different communities that we represent within that Hispanic Heritage Month, I would like to pull out specifically, I know that we have a large Mexican population, and I believe it was Carlos Fuentes who said, debemos incluir, no excluir, we should include, not exclude, and he took the Mexican experience and related that to being one with our entire world, recognizing that as a Mexican male, he was representative not only of Europe, but of South America, of Central America, of the Americas in general, because of the historical context of who we are, of who you are as Mexican people, but also then recognizing that Mexico or the Mexican population is not the only population recognized in Hispanic Heritage Month. It was formalized by Lyndon B. Johnson in 1968 and is centered around the independence from Spain of not only Mexico, but also of many of our Latin American neighbors, as well as Chile and other countries. So when we think about the context, I want you to just recognize that this is something that has stemmed from a small group of people, starting with Hispanic Heritage Week, and has expanded into a month, and that we as a community recognize the importance of our Hispanic Latinx population and all that it means to who we are as Yakima, and of course here in the district. And again, somos uno, más en propósito, pero somos uno, y gracias por su tiempo hoy.
We want to thank everyone for watching and reflecting on the Hispanic Heritage Month special. We all have differences, but we can truly learn to come together to respect and honor the cultures, backgrounds, and heritage we all possess.